A few months ago, I visited a father and he explained to me that his goal was to read the Gita from the beginning to the end. What a noble goal. However, I asked him, what about if you were to choose one shloka from the Bhagavad Gita? And you were to begin to live the teaching of that one shloka that shall make a difference in your life. Like Pandit Rishiji talked about, repetition, without understanding, without knowing, and without making an effort to make that become true. Would it make any sense to just read, not understand, and do nothing about it? Or to read one shloka and make that one make a difference in our lives? I cannot emphasize how our teachings from the Vedas, how great they are. I feel that the Vedas, the teachings of the Vedas, the Bhagavad Gita, and our Eastern philosophy applies more now than ever. But if we fail to explain it in a way that others can make the connection to the reality of their lives, then we have failed as leaders. So today I'd like to examine one great mantra from the Rig Veda. O natam vidata yaima jana anyat yushmakam antaram babhuva niharena pravrita jalpya chasutripa uktashasa charanti. This beautiful mantra, oh man, you do not know that the creator of the cosmos dwells nowhere else but within your own heart. The first part of this beautiful mantra reiterates the teachings of the presence of God. It tells us that know that vidhata, antaram, in your own heart. Know that God exists in your own hearts. But what do? We go searching from place to place, and we don't find God in mandir, so we go to church, and then we don't find God in church, and we go to the mosque. And we go on an endless search for that which is closest in our own hearts. But most importantly, this mantra goes on to tell us about 5 important ways to live our lives as children of God. Number 1, the first most important point here is we must acknowledge the presence of God within. We are not separate. God is within. One of the things that we should be trying to do is trying to understand the true self and make that connection with us and that God within, oneness with God. We say namaste, we acknowledge the presence of the divinity within each other. Mantra says that those who do not acknowledge and understand that God is within themselves, they charanti, they wander here and there, for they cannot perceive the presence of the Almighty God. The second point of this beautiful mantra says, Niharena, the darkness of ignorance. Avrita, covered. Those who exist in the darkness of ignorance. Some of us may make no attempt to enlighten ourselves. We recite, we sing, like Pandit Rishiji was saying, without understanding and without trying to take the actions that make a change in our lives. And we are satisfied remaining ignorant. So mantras say that those who are covered by the darkness of ignorance and choose not to enlighten ourselves and live in our darkness of ignorance, we wander here and there, for we cannot find the presence of God. Bhagavad Gita confirms, Tatratam buddhi samyogam labhate paurvadehikam yatate chatato bhuyah samsamidhau kuru nandana. Here Bhagavan Krishna is saying, O son of Kuru, Arjuna, on once again taking birth, we are reunited with the knowledge that was acquired in the previous birth. And this is why our parents, our grandparents, our nanas and nanis, they always tell us that, even in your dying breath, learn. Because we are reunited with that potential, that in our next birth. And so continues that ongoing journey to moksha. And again, those who choose to dwell in the darkness of ignorance, charanti, wander here and there, for they will not find the presence of God. The third point, jalpya, basically means talkative. Those who talk incessantly, they don't stop talking. They always engage in arguments. What is wrong with that? Have you ever noticed that those who talk a lot usually end up pointing out the faults in others and not really identify the faults in themselves? This is what we find. But those who take the time to contemplate and meditate and really seek that internal peace, usually they're the ones that talk less, because they've realized that they have to make that peace within, and to find that peace within, it first take peace without. Find peace outside of yourself. Quiet yourself. Bring peace to your body, peace to your mind. And one who talks all the time, don't take that time, don't pause long enough to find peace in their lives. So mantra say, jalpya, those who talk incessantly and cannot stop long enough to find peace in their own lives, they also too, they shall charanti, wander here and there and cannot find the presence of God. The fourth point, asutripaha, absorbed in eating in this word, but what it means is absorbed really in materialness of the world. Eating in this case points to taking care of our own health. Those who spend their lives engaging in the materialistic aspect of life, eating and eating non-stop and just absorbed in, enjoying those things, they will not take care of their body, their health. This body is our temple, within which resides our jivatma, a part of that greater Paramatma. We should be taking care of this body. And this we leave another Pravachan, but talk about the true temple of God, this body that God gifted to us. If we really want to show God that we love Him, take care of this precious gift that He gave to us. And in so doing, you will show God that you love Him. So, Those who are absorbed in the materialistic nature of the world, absorbed in enjoying all these sensual things, in eating and satisfying the senses, mantra says that they too shall charanti, wander here and there, and will not find the presence of God. And finally, the fifth point, and I think the most important, and Panditji dealt with this a little bit today. Uktasha saha, those who make a show of being eloquent, the show off, the person who lives to feed his ego. I shall never say that I am a scholar of this or that. Like Dr. G said, we are students. We are students of life. We're students of religion. We're students of God. We seek to learn. Panditji says, if your cup is already full, why would you want to put any more in it? Anyone who is knowledgeable and on his own spiritual journey will tell you that this verse from the Vedas that points out that the ego indeed is our biggest challenge. You see, I think that in this life, one of my goals is by the end of this part of this journey, I should have conquered my ego. But what we end up doing is we use every opportunity to feed the ego. We know better, we know best, we know more. Somebody says something bad about Pandit Jag, I go crazy defending myself. Why? Isn't that also feeding the ego? Regarding the ego, I look at it a little bit differently too. My challenge in this life is that I should be doing nothing to feed my ego. And to me, the tricky part about that is that I shall also do nothing to put a dent in the ego of someone else. Because by attacking the ego of someone else, I am also feeding my own ego. So this is why we seek to be humble. We bow at the feet of God. And we seek to show true humility. And when we can understand and we can show true humility, only then can we show real and true love to all of God's creatures. Humility comes first. If I insist on making a show of my presence when I'm here, I'm feeding my ego. If I insist on having my name called and about all the good things I've done, I'm feeding my ego. So this should be our number one challenge. And as mantra says, Uktashasaha, those who make a show of being eloquent, they, even though God exists within, they will wander here and there in the search for God, but they will not find that presence of God. Not that God is not there, but they will not find and associate themselves with that presence of God within. Bhagavad Gita says, Vihaya kamanya sarvan pumams charati nispriha nirmamo nirahankara sashantim adhikachati. It is only those who conquer greed and gives up all desires of the material world that shall become one with the divine and find peace with himself. It is only those who wander free from these restless desires and possessiveness who attains peace. It is only those who conquer the ego and become the master of the ego instead of being a slave to the ego. Only he shall discover his true self. My fellow souls, we are Aryans with that noble goal, Krimpanto Vishwamaryam. But it begins with us. For me to make the universe noble, or to do my part in making the universe noble, first, I must make myself noble. It begins with me. So I ask you, let us look at these 5 points that Mantra tells us. Let us first, the most important, do what it takes to conquer the ego. And as we do so and we make ourselves noble, then we go out and we make the universe noble. I thank all of you for being a kind and patient and attentive audience. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. With love and humility in my heart, I say namaste to each and every one of you.